Sup everybody, Big Mac here, and you are watching My Two Cents. Now today's topic is a bit of a sensitive one, so buckle your seatbelts because it's going to get bumpy. This is actually my second attempt at this video because I was in the middle of doing it before, and I decided not to do it because, I just couldn't really get anything together to make it to be a long enough video. So today's topic is on racism, my 2 cents on racism. And like I said, I was going to do it before, but I changed my mind because honestly, my thoughts on racism wouldn't take 10 seconds to explain. How do you feel about racism? It's unnecessary. So today I'm going to try something a little different with it. Instead of giving you my 2 cents on racism, I'm going to be giving you my 2 cents more along the lines of racism in society. You know, how people kind of get to go to the race card or want to play the race card, or how things, how it affects us with different situations, or things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. Like with the last video, I did a definition of racism, but I'm pretty sure we already know what it is. It's just one race thinking they're superior to another race, just based on the fact that they are that race, and that's it. I'm black, so I jump higher, or I'm white, so I'm better than you, or whatever. Like I said, and when I tried to do the video the last time, I really couldn't get anything other than I don't care about it. And that's pretty much it. And those are my real feelings about it. But like I said, today I'm just going to get into racism in society and how it affects everybody instead of just my thoughts on it. I mean, with a lot of the, events that have happened with like Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown or Eric Garner in New York, everybody wants to put race on that. Instead, if you take race out of either one of those situations, you have just a regular case of one guy did something to another, one guy kills another guy, or a cop kills man, or something like that, And that's not the only thing. I mean, a lot of people put race behind things that don't necessarily call for it. Like, for instance, I was out hanging out with a friend one night, and at this pool hall, and they have a dress code there, and one of the rules is you can't come in with a sleeveless shirt. Well, three black guys come in, and one of the guys had a sleeveless shirt on. As soon as they walk in the door, the manager comes and says, "Hey guys, we need you to go ahead and change your shirt. As soon as you can do that, you can come right back on in here." And one of the guys like, "Oh, are you sure about that? Or you don't want us up in here? Is that it? You don't want us in here?" And I'm sitting right next to him, listening to this whole thing, and I'm thinking, dude, if you just take a look around, or just a 90-degree look to the left or to the right, you'll see there's plenty of black people in here, all, adhering to the dress code. It's just one of your friends doesn't have the right shirt on, period. It's on the freaking wall. That's all you had to do, but he had to bring race into it. And that pissed the manager off, as long with me. I wasn't pissed off, but I was pissed off with the manager, though. I mean, I understand. I'm like, dude, I understand, man. Can't have that in here. And the guy just said, you know what? Forget it. Have a good day. And banned him from the place. And he was rightful to do that, because the guy just immediately assumed that he didn't want black people in there, so he had to make up a reason for him to leave. Which he didn't. Again, if the guy would have just looked around, he would have saw there were plenty of black people in there that night shooting pool. No problem. But, a lot of people do that. They just have that chip on their shoulder. Like, oh, you don't like it because of my color. That's it. And, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, again, I'll start with some of the current issues, and we'll go through those. Like, one of the biggest things to me is when the news breaks a certain story, it gets, like worldwide attention, or at least national attention in the United States for some odd reason, even though it's a situation between one guy and another guy. Like with Trayvon Martin. For some reason, we all got to watch that, even though it was between Trayvon Martin's family and George Zimmerman's family. It's between those guys. But the fact that George Zimmerman was a different race than Trayvon Martin, it's a hate crime, and everybody's throwing their, opinions in it. And for me, I pay very little attention to that situation. I mean, it's one of those things where I understand injustice is something that happens. I mean, you had one part of the country with George Zimmerman, the other part of the country with Trayvon Martin, and nobody really knows why, other than the fact that it was race. Most of the people say, oh, self-defense, and then everybody's, oh, he just wanted to kill a black man, and that was it. And I'm like, if you just take race out of that, what are you left with, If they're both the same color, you wouldn't hear about this. I mean, I grew up in a neighborhood where there was tons of black-on-black crime, and the only place you heard about it was on the local news. Now, had it been like a black person killing a white person, that might have made news. But if it was a white guy killing a black guy, it's going to go freaking viral. I don't know why. And people like to latch on to that type of stuff, man, just to latch on to something negative and say, oh, I stand up for this. I'm standing up for something right. Well, why don't you stand up for when something else like that happens between another black guy killing another black guy? I mean, where's your stand up for your rights thing there? I don't get that. That's why I try not to, jump onto those stuff like that, jump onto those current issues, those real heated issues like that. It's not because I don't want to say anything insensitive or, try to pick a side or anything, but I look at it like this. I look at it, I say, okay, let's take race out of that. What happened? Is it just a guy killing another guy? Is, the guy right for doing it? Is the guy defending himself? I try to look at every aspect of it instead of what we're just being fed on the news, or instead of just what everybody else is feeding into it. And as the case with Mike Brown, everybody jumped behind Mike Brown. Oh, the cops just wanted to kill another black man, and he had his hands up, and everybody was rioting and doing all that stuff. And for some reason, it's this big huge race thing. Well, it really should have been, the police against a civilian. What are the rules for police when they feel like they're being threatened or feel like they're being attacked or something like that? What are the rules for that? And what can they do and what can they not do? And what are the rules and the consequences if they take something a little too far? I'm pretty sure the police are armed with more than just a gun, maybe a nightstick or a taser or something. And I'm pretty sure most officers are trained, heavily trained how to use every weapon they have. So, I mean, the situation with Mike Brown and the officer, I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy could have did something else inside to use his gun. But everybody wants to look past that. Everybody wants to look at, oh, it's a white cop killing the black guy. And that's the whole thing. And no one looking at that, oh, okay, well, what happens with an officer kills a guy who's unarmed or, anything like that. And I'm pretty sure it's right there. You can look it up on the internet and see what happens. What's the protocol for that? What's the policy? What's the procedure for any of that? And that's another thing. I mean, they jump behind Mike Brown so much, and then you got other people jumping behind the officer. Oh, he's just doing his job. Mike Brown's a thug and all that. None of that matters, man. Look at what happened in the situation, and then look at the proper steps that need to be taken to handle that. And most people are saying, oh, he got off, so it's not the right justice. Well, justice needs to be served and all that stuff. Well, justice kind of was served, but not the justice you want it to be served. I mean, you can't just say, okay, if this white cop doesn't go down for it, the world's terrible. The world's terrible to begin with, but again, you have to go with the system that's in place. Whether it's a good system or a bad system, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's flawed or perfect, that's another story. That's what you should be looking at instead of, oh, he's just a black guy getting killed, so the system's wrong. It's always going to go for the white guys. And they're going to find every single incident where something like that happened and just point it in your face instead of looking at every aspect of the individual situation. That's going to transition right into Eric Garner. I mean, the cop had the guy in a chokehold and choked him out until the guy was saying, I can't breathe, and now he's dead. And now you have everybody doing the I can't breathe type thing. And yeah, that I understand why people are upset. But again, take race out of that. Take race out of a white guy killing the black guy, a white cop killing the black man. Take race out of that. There's no point for it. Just go with, okay, what happens when a cop kills an innocent civilian, an unarmed innocent civilian? He's not being attacked. He's not being threatened. The guy's not resisting arrest. What happens then? No one is going up and looking up and saying, okay, why didn't this guy follow protocol? They're asking, why did this white guy kill this black guy? Why did this white cop kill this black guy? I mean, again, there's no need for it. I mean, it's just something else thrown in there. I don't know, man. It's just to the point to where the majority of people are just so focused on race that they're completely just overlooking the simple facts of any situation you have with Mike Brown or Eric Garner or, Trayvon Martin. Just overlooking just the simple part of it. Man kills man, cop kills man. What happens afterwards? Instead of just going, oh, white cop kills black man, let's march on it, Let the state and the city or whoever it happens to take care of it in their way. And if you see there's something was done wrong in there, then act on that part, not on race. And so this is where I'm just going to cut the video here because I had some other thoughts, but just talking about it makes me aggravated because it's just, to me, there's no point to talk about it. It's just so asinine that it shouldn't even be a discussion, really. You know, because there's no scientific proof that one race is better than the other, and it's just something drummed up by everybody else, something negative drummed up to everybody to argue with, and just take your focus off of other things you need to focus on. You know, so thank you guys for watching this video. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out my channel, Bigmacasaurus, and check out some other things on there. Go to my Facebook page, Big Mac Productions, and like that, because I'll be sharing some other exclusive content there that you won't see here on YouTube. What are your thoughts on racism? I'll go to my Facebook page and debate them with you. But other than that, just tell me what you think about it in the comments below. And again, man, just if you're like me, don't put so much emphasis on race on anything. In fact, just take it completely out of your life. Don't think about it. When you see something like that happen, you go, you know what? That's their problem. If one man hates another man because of the color of his skin, that's that man's problem, not the other guy's. So again, thank you for watching this video. Please continue to watch these videos as they come out, and I'll see you next time.